Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Evan Cutts. I'm the content editor for Color, and today I will be your MC. I want to thank you all for joining us and for your interest in supporting ERGs with Color and Parker Dewey. As folks file in, we invite you to engage with us in the chat, tell us where you're from and what organization you're representing. We would love to hear from you. Please note, this webinar will be recorded. The presentation will run for about 30 minutes, and our presenters, Jeffrey Moss and Camilla Avant, will be available afterward to answer any questions you may have. So feel free to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom window. For those who may be unfamiliar with Color, we are an affiliate of Bridgetower Media, providing premier events focused on empowering professionals of color. We offer unique signature events that address issues in diversity and inclusion, share tools for enrichment, foster long-lasting partnerships, and recognize the achievements of D&I leaders. For over a decade, Color has maintained a strong reputation for creating informative content and thought leadership, as highlighted in our online publication, colormagazine.com. Parker Dewey offers the largest network of highly motivated college students and recent graduates who are excited to complete short-term, paid professional assignments. While executing these micro-internships, career launchers demonstrate their skills and grit and exceed expectations as they seek the right full-time role or internship. Not only do professionals get immediate support, micro-internships also help companies identify and evaluate prospective job candidates for internships or full-time needs when they arise. As a result, organizations improve hiring effectiveness, enhance diversity, and drive retention. Once again, we welcome you to our webinar, and let's get the conversation going.
Good morning.
I'd like to welcome to the stage Camilla Avant, the Director of Diversity Program.
Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you, Evan, and hello, everyone. Again, I'm Camilla Avant, Director of Diversity Programs with Color Magazine, and I'm glad to have this opportunity to tell you a little about Color's Employee Resource Group product, what we call our ERG Summit. As you can see from our first slide, that our employee resource, let me just get to what we're going to cover today. But before we do, I'd like to get a sense of where your company is with its ERGs. And because companies differ in where they are in their ERG journey, Color breaks out the tiers of that journey. So if you can drop in the chat box and let us know if you are aware of where your company is in its ERG. So would you say from 0 to 3 years, you're a rising star, you're just starting out? Or if you're a VIP status, 3 to 5 years, your ERGs are starting to flourish with a few ERG groups? Or are you a rock star, A-lister status, where your ERGs have been around for 5 years, maybe they're tied to the business objectives, or maybe you have a global ERG robust environment. So please drop in the chat if you know where you are. Are you a rising star, an A-lister, or a VIP rock star? We'd love to get an idea of where you are. Got a lot of rising stars dropping in there. That's good to know. A lot of rising stars. Okay. Some VIPs, a lot of just starting out. This is useful information for both Parker Dewey and Color. So appreciate you sharing that. So just what we'll cover today, I wanted to share an overview of some of the common challenges with DEI efforts. There's a variety of factors that influence the effectiveness of ERGs. And a lot of that information we can go and rely on McKinsey studies, which is a great resource finding out metrics and really adjusting to finding out where companies are. The most commonly cited barriers is a lack of metrics, a lack of understanding of the potential benefits of DEI initiatives, and just a failure of companies to prioritize DE&I at top leadership levels. Data shows that just 2/5 of organizations have a mature DE&I initiatives. Although there's been some progress in overall workforce diversity, there's still not nearly enough. Many organizations seem to lack enough gender diversity in their leadership ranks. And even some companies are spending, even though with everything that's been going on with social unrest and George Floyd's murder, many companies are not spending more than 20% of their time on DE&I. And so there's a real failure to incorporate key DE&I initiatives to a very high degree. So one of the things we see that ERGs can help deal and address with these challenges is ERGs lend a powerful support to critical businesses and talent objectives. They increase employee retention, they help develop new leaders, and help recruit high quality, diverse talent. And if ERGs are used creatively, they can also foster innovative thinking and break or expand into new markets. And we all know that they are crucial for building a culture of allyship among employees to foster collaboration across your organization. ERGs are a great way for the effective recruiting process as well. Many new employees want to believe they feel welcome and accepted in a new company. So used effectively, ERGs is a great way to promote that you have a welcoming culture of understanding. There's many companies who are using ERGs very provocatively in their social media. They could be used to help bring in promising results because those ERGs are basically your brand ambassadors. They can show how your company is a great place to work and has a great culture. So we all know that, let me see where we are in the slides. Okay, so here we go. What is the Color ERG Summit? Our Employee Resource Group Summit is a custom white labeled event experience designed to provide effective and creative D&I solutions for maximizing your business value, your ERGs, while helping to make them stronger, more relevant, and valuable. The benefits of partnering with Color is a lot. We do customized programming from initiation to execution. So we develop project management, we source leading speakers in the D&I field, we promote your event, we do from production. A lot of it now with COVID is virtual. We're moving in this virtual experience. And then we're moving towards also hybrid. And as we progress into live in-person events again, we will do all of that, the logistics as well. And we also really drive the event through social media and email marketing. And I always like to share some key takeaways from previous ERG summits. We've been putting on these summits for well over 5 years now. And a lot of the takeaways from our attendees is usually tells a lot about what they've learned, what they've experienced, and the value of our programming. So some of the key takeaways we're highlighting on this slide is a lot of the attendees get advice from experts on the many considerations necessary for ensuring the long-term success of their ERGs. There's examination of best practices in issues such as business case infrastructure, leadership support, and the way to track your ERG's effectiveness. Recruitment and retention is always a big thing, and also keeping engaging executive sponsors and allies and advocates has been some key takeaways that many of the attendees have found from our ERG program. So again, as I mentioned, our product is customizable, and there's a lot of potential ERG offerings that we can include in the package. We offer informational webinars. We do fireside chats with influential keynote speakers. We deliver and set up expert panel discussions. When we get back face-to-face, we can do those in-person or virtual workshops. Virtual now being the preference now during COVID, but there's also opportunities for happy hours. You know, we can get creative, and we have done virtual networking happy hours as well. And a lot of our events either run from a short 60 minutes, they can be a half day or a full day, depending on your ERG needs and where you are in your ERG journey. And I'm not going to go into a lot of details on that FAQ slide, but one of the things I do want to point out is, again, the ability for us to be flexible during this time. Our last ERG summit, if there's anyone in the audience who was able to attend, was a 100% virtual experience. We had a live keynote speaker, fireside chat, who was in LA, and our host sponsor was actually located in Massachusetts. So we were able to incorporate a live feed in that program, and then also use some pre-recorded content and also engage in some breakout rooms. So the attendees also had that connection in that live space. So we can get creative, and we've been able to do that. So a few questions we help organizations answer. Does your company leverage ERGs as a resource for innovating organizational policies and procedures? Does your company look to ERGs to develop their leadership pipeline? We all know pipeline's important. And are your ERGs tied to talent attraction and retention efforts? So at this point now, I'd like to pass it over to Jeffrey Moss to talk about the micro internships with Parker Dewey. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. And again, as the leading provider of these ERG events and summits and other programs, just a huge thanks to Color. The work they've done over the past number of years building out content to support the ERGs is unmatched. I'm really excited to partner with them, because part of what we're doing and part of what we're going to talk about today is how to take the lessons learned in the programming and all of the outcomes from these types of ERG programs that Color has been so effective in driving, and continuing to make it as effective as possible for organizations, both to support existing employees, but also create equitable pathways for hiring. And one of the ways we're doing it, and one of the things we'll talk about today, is how to collaborate, again, through that type of ERG programming and micro internships. So if we were in person, I'd ask how many of you are familiar with micro internships, and maybe we'd see some hands go up. I'd also ask how many of you have projects on your plate that aren't the highest and best use of your time, or things that you just don't have enough hours in a day for. Again, in that case, we'd see every hand go up. What we did about 6 years ago was we created this concept of the micro internship, short-term paid professional projects completed by college students or recent graduates to help existing employees. So again, these aren't summer internships, they're not apprenticeships, they're not full-time hires. They also don't replace any of those things. What we found is by providing college students and recent grads opportunities to work on these short-term projects, these things that would take an existing employee typically 5, 10, 20 hours to do, companies can create these equitable pathways to both introduce their brand to students or recent grads who may not be aware, or to showcase diversity and inclusion efforts, or to help students demonstrate their skills in a way that may not be captured within the four corners of a resume, while also providing an invaluable perk to existing employees. And as I said, everyone has these needs. We call them the we shoulds and the I shouldn'ts. We should write a blog article on a new topic or conduct some research. Or I shouldn't. I shouldn't be the one cleansing data or doing a first draft. Again, while not the best use of time for an existing professional with 5 or 10 years of experience, for college students or recent grads, they provide this invaluable way to gain experience and learn about organizations while showcasing their skills. So while every professional can leverage these micro internships, ERGs in particular have an incredible opportunity, a great opportunity, again, to define the goals that they have. How do we bring in more individuals from underrepresented populations, whether it's tied to ethnic diversity or gender or first generation students? What are those students or recent grads you're trying to provide those equitable pathways in, but maybe the organization has struggled? Then it's about introducing the program, helping the ERG members recognize that this is an opportunity for them to get support, but also provide the pathways for individuals with backgrounds similar to their own. Parker Dewey, again, in normal cases, sits behind the scenes and helps support those programs, and we could talk more about that, and actually provides an impact report showing the effectiveness. As I alluded to before, the benefits for ERG members are very real. It's an opportunity for them to engage with college students and recent grads that have, again, backgrounds similar to their own. It's also viewed as an employee perk by offering these projects to existing ERG members. they're happy to offload those projects, those we shoulds and I shouldn'ts that they have on their plate. What it also does, it gives them valuable opportunity to manage. Again, especially for the younger ERG members that maybe have never managed anyone before, don't have any employees working for them. This is a great way to showcase those skills. And as we'll talk about in a bit, it's also a great way to apply some of those lessons they're learning through programming like that of color. Finally, it provides this great appreciation for the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion within their organization. I mean, look, DEI is a very popular topic right now. We see companies updating websites, talking about the messaging, buying the t-shirts, hanging the banners, but is it really creating equitable pathways? Do the employees on the ground feel like they're truly an inclusive environment? Do they feel like DEI is appreciated by senior management team members? Programs like this that are creating those equitable pathways into the organizations shows how valuable the ERGs are viewed by the companies, but also the importance companies place on bringing in new talent from beyond, again, the traditional academic pedigree. For companies, what it also does is it helps support the early employees. Again, giving access to students who may otherwise get missed, or access to students or opportunities for students who may have preconceived notions about a company or self-select out of applying because they view a company won't include someone like them. It's especially important right now as organizations look to get through the noise in their recruiting efforts. Again, with so many companies talking about diversity and inclusion and having it as a key part of the messaging, how do you really stand out? And what we found is it leads to improved retention of existing employees because of some of the reasons I said before, but also improved outcomes from a diversity recruiting perspective. Again, Parker Dewey is able to sit here behind the scenes to make sure that the members of the ERGs are getting the immediate support on demand, helping to ensure that the companies are accessing potential employees. Plus, it's a great way to give back. Again, beyond writing the scholarship check, beyond the philanthropic efforts, by providing these equitable pathways to all early career professionals, it's an incredible way to give back. Again, using micro internships themselves, very simple. Post a project, select who you want. The student does the work. As I alluded to before, Parker Dewey's sitting behind the scenes to handle all of the administrative aspects. So they're not your employees. You're not filling out 1099s or W-2s. There's no conversion fee if you hire them, et cetera, et cetera. And it really gives you access to this massive network of college students and recent college grads, with over 11 million students and recent grads able to work on these micro internships. And one of the things I'm most proud of is over 80% of the micro interns selected come from underrepresented populations. We're seeing it the right way. And again, through our work with organizations like Color, supporting companies internally, and through our work with organizations like Winning Edge, with diverse student athletes, or the UNCF through its Career Pathways Initiative, or the Dell Foundation for first generation students, we're able to really showcase these micro internship opportunities to a breadth of students to really support your ERG members. Again, I'm not going to go through all of these facts. We will share the slides after, but the short version is it's really, really easy to use, and it goes really, really well. And we see it have a very real sustainable impact. We see companies creating new roles. We see companies improving their retention efforts and truly providing equitable pathways in a way they may not have historically. And we're seeing the students have great experiences. Now, one of the reasons we're here with Color today, and one of the reasons I'm most excited, is how, for lack of a better metaphor, 1 + 1 can equal something much more than 2. As we'll talk about, through combined programs that include Color's ERG content and programming, coupled with micro internships, we can really enhance the outcomes for both, making sure that existing employees are getting the professional development content to help them thrive within the organization, giving them opportunities to apply what they're learning through Color's programming in a very real, actionable way, while providing them opportunities to build managerial experiences, especially for the earlier career professionals. What it also does is it continues to support those employees, showing how important both diversity is to the organization, but providing an invaluable resource to help them continue to grow. What we've also found is through this combined program, it's a more effective way to bring new employees into the organization, especially those from underrepresented populations, individuals who might not be aware of the organization. These types of pathways give them a way to learn about it. It helps them showcase an organization's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. It helps form authentic relationships between existing employees and those who are thinking about roles at the company, not in a way that is make believe mentoring, not in a way that feels check the box, not in a way where you're asking ERG members to just show up at a recruiting event and they feel like they are a quote unquote token. And those are their words, not ours. By creating these authentic relationships and allowing them to post these short-term projects, they can again apply the lessons learned through Color's programming while also building those authentic relationships and seeing the support. So what we've done in partnership with Color was really create 3 different packages that companies can use. Now, of course, we're happy to work with you on other options, but we tried to make it simple, leveraging the best practices that both of our organizations have seen over the past several years. First, there is the A-lister package, which is $25,000. Of course, obviously, it could be scaled more. It's a half-day or full-day ERG conference with keynote speakers, panel discussions, workshops, and a series of additional resources to support your existing employees. But what it also includes is 25 micro internships. So as part of that $25,000, 25 college students or recent grads will be paid to gain these real experiences at your organization, working directly with ERG members, providing support on those short-term projects they have, while also allowing organizations to identify, engage, and assess those who they may want to hire. The second package is $15,500. Again, there's 2 options for the programming. Again, it could be a keynote address in a fireside chat, or it could be an expert panel discussion with interactive Q&A. And again, we're happy to work with you to structure what program is the best. It also includes 15 of those micro internships, again, providing those real experiences for the students and recent grads. And then finally, the Rising Star program, which is $10,000. It includes a 60-minute DEI workshop, along with 10 micro internships. In addition, in all of these cases, we're able to provide you with an impact report, showing you how the impact of this program has really been felt by both the company overall and the individual managers from your ERGs. Is it leading to better hiring? Is it leading to improved diversity? Is it leading to enhanced retention? And then also targeted outreach and engagement, again, through our collective relationships and some of the partnerships I mentioned, whether it's the Dell Foundation with the first generation students, or the UNCF Career Pathways, or Winning Edge, or Bottom Line, or Generation, or the partnerships with over 400 colleges and universities, we're really able to help you target specific student populations, not just based on demographics, but maybe to access those who are freshmen or sophomores, to introduce your brand to those students, or introduce your industry. Or maybe it's to focus on recent college grads if there's open roles, or those with specific skills, again, aligned to specific ERGs, especially if they're departmental. So what now? Well, you can launch a program. As I said, both Camilla and I are happy to talk with you, as are our teams, to talk about the different program options. You can engage your ERGs. Again, by going to your ERGs, we know they're hungry both for the content and for the project-based support. Talk with your ERG members, and we're happy to help you talk with them. We're happy to provide resources or host events or webinars to introduce this. We know they're hungry for this content and for these resources. And let your hiring managers know. And of course, contact us. Again, we'll include all of our contact information in the chat, so you can reach out. But again, we're happy to work with you. At this point, we'd like to open it up to any questions folks may have. We tried to answer some along the way and in the chat. Camilla, I don't know if you want to come back on and anything I missed.
No, I think it was a great job, Jeffrey. And one of the things I did want to mention is we have found that, again, this is a journey. So as you seen a lot of the pricing packages, we start at that entry level. And then as your ERGs evolve, you might move from a rising star to a VIP, and then when you're really flourishing and really connecting your ERGs to company initiatives, and it's part of your corporate structure, you move into that A-lister strategy. And that's one of the things we've done with our past partner with TJX companies. They started on that entry stage. They were just kicking off a couple of affinity groups, and they evolved over a period of 5 years from the rising star. They put a lot of energy in how can they engage and how could they really make their ERGs move to that next level. And they progressed all the way from that rising star to that A-lister, or that rock star status. But again, it's commitment from your leadership team, making sure that your employees, again, as Jeffrey mentioned, they're hungry, they want to thrive, they want to work in an organization that really incorporates diversity, equity, inclusion, and these joint products are a great way to do that. It gives you that pipeline, but it also gives you that professional development, that career development, that tying the value of the ERGs to your company's DEI strategies and larger strategic plan. So that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, no, and I think that's really important because again, everyone I think is trying to do the right thing. Everyone has recognized, or at least hopefully at this point, everyone has recognized the value of diversity within organizations. They recognize not just the social value, but the business value. And organizations are all at different parts in that journey. And as Camilla said, what's most important is it's got to be authentic. It can't take place in a vacuum, and it can't feel like someone is checking a box. It needs to feel real. The ERG members and existing employees need to feel like there is a real commitment to them and the professional development and growth, and a real company appreciation and value for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a real value and importance to equitable pathways. And what I love about this work together is it does just that. It creates supports for existing employees through the programming, and then gives them a way to apply those best practices and lessons learned as they're working with college students and recent grads on these short-term projects. Again, it's really a holistic approach, and one that can be applied by companies irrespective of where they are in their journey. Again, at every one of these price points, and again, we're happy to work with organizations on other options, they're accessible for organizations of all sizes, especially given the business value that we all know is there. I don't know if there's any other questions in the chat, but we are hitting the bottom of the hour very, very quickly. Again, thank you to all of those who attended. If you have other questions, please let either of us know. We'll share contact information. I'm going to turn it back over to Evan.
Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. As mentioned before, the program is recorded and will be shared with the attendees who were here today. And for those who unfortunately were not able to attend, please keep an eye out for that email with this content. We'll also be following up with an inquiry form in case any of you are interested in this product and want to follow up with us more about next steps. So with that, I want to say thank you all for joining us. Be safe, be well, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.